So that's reaction here as some of the details, and we must stress these are leaks, these are not details that we have seen in this draft text, but as it's filtering out here, you can see there's an awful lot of activity behind me. These are briefings from people like Jacob Rees-Mogg, of course, from a grouping within Parliament, a Conservative grouping who are very much from the Eurosceptic wing. They are not happy with any sense that the UK would be closely aligned with the EU. As you heard from what he said there, he does not feel that that is a true Brexit. People have talked about Brexit in name only. Some of them will think that that is the case if Northern Ireland is treated differently. We've heard from Sammy Wilson already, who clearly feels from what he has seen that there are issues here that are a problem for his party, and of course the DUP, a party with 10 MPs who mean that Theresa May has a majority. Without them, she doesn't, and that is a bit of a problem. And we're just going to speak now to the former Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson.
Nice
I'm very well, thank you. We're live on BBC News. Thank you for speaking to us.
Fine,
we are only at the stage where we're seeing leaks of documents.
That's right, and so we have to be pretty careful, but this has been well trailed. This has been a chronicle of a death foretold for some months now, and I think effectively it's pretty much what Ollie Robbins and Sabine Veil agreed a few weeks back anyway. We're going to stay in the customs union on this deal. We're going to stay effectively in large parts of the single market, and that means it's vassal state stuff. We are going to, for the first time in 1,000 years, this Parliament will not have a say over the laws that govern this country. It is a quite incredible state of affairs. It will mean that we are having to accept rules and regulations from Brussels over which we have no say ourselves. It is utterly unacceptable to anybody who believes in democracy. It is not the right way forward. And there is a kicker. And the kicker is that not only are we going to remain in the customs union and in large parts of the single market, but also we will not have protected our precious union. Because if you look at what they've agreed today, again we must caveat this and say you look at the reports, then it is also accepted that there must be customs and regulatory checks down the Irish Sea between Great Britain and Northern Ireland, which currently do not exist. And for the first time since partition, Dublin, under these proposals, would have more say in some aspects of the government of Northern Ireland than London. So I don't see how you can support it from a democratic point of view. I don't see how a unionist can support it, and I don't see how you can support it if you believe in the political economic freedom of this country. So if you ask my question, am I going to vote against it? The answer is yes.
I think we gathered that. Okay. What about the rest of the cabinet, your former cabinet colleagues? What's your message to them?
Well, I hope that they consider it carefully, and obviously, we'll have to see exactly what it is and have to look at the terms, but it's been extensively trailed, and I think that the right thing for them to do would be to advise the Prime Minister that this would not be acceptable to the House of Commons or to the British people, because it patently fails to fulfil the mandate given by the British people in June 2016. So I think it's time to, and there is bags of time.
But what's your alternative?
The alternative has been well set out by plenty of people in the last couple of years, not least the Prime Minister herself. When at Lancaster House on January the 17th, 2017, she set out a very attractive vision for a free trade deal, a Canada-style free trade deal, coupled with all sorts of other intergovernmental arrangements and partnerships, which I think would be incredibly attractive to the people of this country and to our friends and partners in the European Union. And that's the way forward.
Except people have said that doesn't solve this issue of not having border checks.
I think that as you will have heard people say many times before, I think that the issue of the border in Northern Ireland has been escalated quite deliberately in order to produce this perverse result that the whole of the UK ends up remaining within the customs union and in the single market, thereby effectively frustrating the result of the referendum and the verdict of the people, and basically making a nonsense of Brexit. So I hope the Cabinet will do the right thing, and I hope they chuck it out.
Just one more question. What happens next if Parliament does reject it? Are you relaxed about us going out without a deal?
I don't think anybody on either side of the Channel wants no deal. and I don't think it is remotely necessary. I think, by the way, that the negative consequences of no deal have been exaggerated. I think there would be effects and they'd have to be dealt with, they'd have to be managed. I'm not going to deny that for a second. Of course that's true. But I don't think it's anything like as bad as people currently pretend. But nobody wants no deal, just as nobody wants a hard border in Northern Ireland. It is possible to fix these problems.
People talk about it being bumpy and there being difficulties and short-term. We're talking about people's jobs and the economy, aren't we?
We have abundant time between now and what's called the end of the implementation period at the end of 2020 to get this right, and we can get it right.
What we should do, drill to get that.
That's right. So what we should, exactly right. So what we should do now is scrap the current backstop arrangements in the current withdrawal agreement, and we have time to do that, and then have a withdrawal agreement in which both sides say very simply that they don't want to have a hard border in Northern Ireland. The European Commission joins with that ambition. Nobody wants a hard border in Northern Ireland. You have a withdrawal agreement setting that out, setting out all the other terms that need to be established, and then you go forward over the next couple of years to do the free trade deal. And that's what we should do.
Okay. Boris Johnson, thank you very much indeed.